Okay, now we're live. Okay, hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to go over how we adjust the new virtual custom fit saddles from Schleese. I just got my new Cosmic Jump saddle and we're gonna learn about how all of that works because these saddles are pretty cool. And I'm guessing that many of the people watching will have not tried anything like them before. So Jochen, I'll let you take it away. Yeah.
Yes, thanks very much for today's topic. It's always a question people ask me is, how do you adjust the saddle virtual? Don't you have to be there on the horse? And can you not help me to stuff the saddle, adjust the saddle? And sometimes the fitter can't be there on time. Sometimes we have problems where we don't get the right tools there in time. So while COVID happened, we were working on a product so we can help people, no matter where they are, look at them with their saddle on the horse and adjust the saddle. Now you could say to yourself, well, isn't the saddle adjusted and why would it need to be readjusted? I chose to open this screen here. The horse's three-dimensional back changes all the time, so the way the rider rides or the trainer trains the horse, nutrition, but mainly is the condition, the environment they live in, the age. Sure, the farrier can make a big difference and the body worker and veterinarian, but also the tack. The tack doesn't work, it deforms. A little side note, Shelby, is my backdrop backwards or is it?
Yeah, it's backwards.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
I haven't switched that from Instagram. So anyway, so if you're really, really clever, you can figure out what the website says. If not, you have to pay attention to it. It's schleese.com, very easy. Anyway, so when the horses changes all the time, what is so important is to maintain the balance. So if I, as a rider, want to sit comfortable balance over the balance point of the horse, and the saddle becomes too tight, it becomes high in the front, and I be not in alignment. So here is why it changes. Look at the cross section of the horse's rib cage. This is the elbow, sternum elbow, non-ridden. So if the horse is ridden, these muscles gets bigger, it lifts the rib cage. You can see
so cool.
That is a different angle. So now I have a custom saddle or a saddle I can adjust it, but I can't adjust it because the fitter is not there, or I have a saddle that cannot be adjusted. Let's say you had a horse who went through growth spurt and you notice the balance is off, the angle changes, and we have too much pressure on these muscles. I'm going to blow this up because this is a drawing I got out of the book written by a veterinarian, so that people really understand how crucial this is. This is the cross section of the withers, where your tree point is, where your stirrup bar is, and the horse is really, really strong and able to carry you if the main contact is where the longissimus dorsi is. That's that brown fat muscle. Okay, these muscles, the rhomboideus, trapezius, spinalis, they don't like to be pinched at the withers. So if you think about from that point down to approximately here, to where that spinalis ends, that's 4 inches. Okay, so you do never want to have a saddle pinch there. So the question is, how am I going to make this fit when that changes? Imagine you get a nice top line and the trapezius, this one here, gets bigger. They get that nice super top line. So this gets bigger. Now the saddle pinches. So in the ability to get, oops, I got to make that smaller. A quick check to see if the angle change, you can take your phone. Every phone has under the measurement setting, it comes with your phone, what measures the angle. So if you want to measure that, all you have to do is go to the highest point of the horse, probably where the mane ends 4 inches forward. And then you put your phone along the side. Now you can put it way on top, or you can put it a little lower. So no matter where you put it, you keep it the same. You can't measure one day on top, one day a little lower, because then it skews your measurements. So if I don't want to go through the extra work because it takes time, I need paper, I need scissors. If I want to have a quick check, my horse changed, put the phone on it. Oh my God, that horse went from 76 to 84 in the angle. I got to change my saddle. I got to call my saddle fitter. Or if you have one of the virtual custom fit saddles, you can do it. So the question is, how can you do it? Well, you have this tool. Have you seen that, Shelby?
Yeah, I have one actually in this box.
Can you get it out and show us?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's black. Okay. And sometimes it's a little loose, sometimes it's a little stiff. There should be an Allen key with it.
Yeah, there's one here.
Okay, and then a smaller Allen key, a very, very small Allen key.
Oh yeah, tiny.
Okay, so that
Yeah,
tiny.
I don't think you can see it.
Okay, so let me get my tool. The tiny one needs to go in these little holes.
Okay.
So if it's really hot or really cold, all of a sudden this doesn't hold anymore, it just falls.
Yeah.
Because the plastic expands and contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then all of a sudden it's get too floppy. So you only need it, let's say you put it on over the horse, like you see in the picture on the top right,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take it off. But when you take it off, it went well like this. It fell, right? It's too floppy. Then you take your tiny, tiny Allen key and adjust it a little bit. Okay. You don't really need it. You only need it if it's getting too loose. So you would do it in these black.
Okay. Oh
ones.
yeah.
Okay, do you see that?
Yeah, mine's pretty tight right now.
That's good. So the back one here, it's just to undo the level, which you don't need.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So the other thing too is you see a circle here, right? That circle there, you see that on your tool?
Yeah,
It's
there.
right there. So that circle needs to be in the middle. You see in the picture, in the middle of the withers. So then what you do, you go over the widest point and you just lay it on top and then just stroke it down. Then you lift it up. Okay, that's very easy, right? So pretend your head was the horse's shoulders. Okay, so you go with the widest point and you put it on. So then you take it carefully down, and in your box, is there paper inside?
Yeah.
So you see there is this box what looks like this, right?
Yeah.
So you lay that on there, and then whatever the form was, okay, you cut that out.
Cool.
Okay. So then what you do with the cutout, you put it back on the horse to check if everything is good. All right.
Okay.
So, and then you see on the cutout, there's name, horse's name, date is all written on there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't want to check with your phone, okay, because you don't know how to do it or your phone doesn't have it, right? You can always put the horse on the cross tie and put the cardboard back on. It says, oh, does it fit? Doesn't that fit?
Cool.
So here's a very key element. Read to me what's on the cardboard.
It says right, left, shoulder tracing cutout to adjust tree width, tree angle, and symmetry. And then yeah, the horse's name, saddle support area in inches, date, coronet bend distance, line 1 tracing.
Okay, so the coronet bend distance is important because, let me show you. What I always do, I put a little chalk around his hoof or a little tape, because when you tape the horse, when you measure the horse, Sometimes they move around, or there's flies, or there's another horse coming. Okay. You need to remember how far his legs stand apart. So if you look at my little demo horse here,
Yeah.
was he standing this way? Was he standing very close? Was he standing this way? You want him square, and then you want to measure cornet bend to cornet bend. So that would be inside cornet bend to inside cornet bend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when we developed this tool, Shelby, we had tried multiple materials, and then we came up with this. It is so simple. And then we did 10 horses in a row, very, very fast. And then we did the cutout and put it back on. It fitted. Every single one fit perfect except one, not even close. And we were going like this. Oh my God, how can we be so perfect on those and this didn't? Well, that one horse, when we cut it out, put it back, adjusted it itself and stand wider. Because the horse has no collarbone. Okay. And if this leg, what is connected to this upper arm and this shoulder blade, it's not connected to the rib cage. When this goes in or out, that changes the shoulder. Okay.
Cool.
So when you cut out and you write, say, 9 inches, the horse, when you put that black tool or over the back, okay, the horse was standing 9 inches apart. So you now put it on your cardboard like here. You cut it out, traced it, and then cut it out. In the meantime, the horse moved. Right? And you don't know how close or how wide did I had it. So before you put that back on, make sure the horse is at 9 inches or whatever he measures. So now you have a young horse. And the young horse goes bigger and bigger and bigger in the shoulder. Okay. So here, when a horse gets bigger in the shoulder, they also get wider in the chest. So you know yourself, you can put a horse together in the front, very narrow. You can split the leg, always move him back and forth 3-4 times, wherever he ends, wherever he stands. Okay. There's another cool measurement trick. If you say, oh, I wonder if my saddle still fits, just measure how wide his natural stand is. Because if he gets wider here, I guarantee you, he's wider in the chest.
Cool.
You know, when you remember when you ride little babies, you groom in between the chest very narrow.
Yeah.
Then you see him back several years later, you could put the brush sideways now.
Yeah.
Right? So that affects, of course, how wide this is. So far, so good?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I really like this system because I can check my training progress. I can see how my horse is done. And I don't have to wait until my horse tells me, it's too tight, I hate it. So that is something what I can do quick. So now, whatever you have remained, so look at your cardboard again. You notice that the same information is on the bottom again, right? And it's upside down, right?
Yeah.
So flip it over so it's there. So the cutout, what you will have left, that cutout, you put that into your saddle like that.
Okay.
See? And then you form this around the cardboard. It's very, very simple. If you have a saddle with an interchangeable panel, if you have a saddle which we call a hybrid, there's a much easier way to fit it. You can do it this way, okay? Or I show you on my little horse dummy how to do it next.
Yeah, that's really, that's easy though. It sounds really easy. Like I don't have a cutout yet because I'm gonna get a bunch of them for like all the horses because That'll make like it's easier to look at it like that though, because then if you have a bunch of different cutouts with names on them, you can just do that in the tack room.
You know what you're gonna like too? I mean, it might take you a half a day, but if you measure them all correctly and you record it all correctly and you make a spreadsheet, you're really gonna love, because you can see your nutrition program, you can see your training program, you can see how much they lose or gain muscle.
Yeah, like I think it'll be really interesting with Banksy, especially because he's only 3.5. So if I fit the saddle to him like now and then check again next spring, it'll probably be quite a difference. So I'm interested.
100%. You're gonna really enjoy this. And then when you say, wow, I don't have time to adjust my saddle to all these horses I have in training, you can start putting the templates on top of each other and says, oh my God, look how close they are. So you can, let's say you have 10 horses to ride, you can say, these 4 horses can share a saddle, no problem. I have to do nothing. Right? So this is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How quick you can see, because this metal plate, it's a cat's meow, I tell you. If this doesn't fit. Yeah. And so now we go a little bit more into detail. When I say detail, I'm talk about orthopedic saddle fitting.
Okay.
Orthopedic saddle fitting means horses are born like humans, not 100% straight. Okay. Some horses have the mane to the right, some to the left, and majority have the left shoulder bigger. Some have muscle, some have deformity in the bone or in the rear, the transitional vertebrae. So you might have a saddle that always falls to one side, or the rider always hangs to one side.
Yeah.
All right. Again, most saddles are made 100% symmetric, but very few humans and very few horses are 100% symmetric.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If the rider is not symmetric, is it because of muscle, structure, or injury? That unit we call saddle will amplify the problem and will fall into the hollow side. And there's professionals who have fought with each other to the part where screaming matching, right? One professional, and these are both body workers, they say, no way, the saddle should be adjusted to the unevenness of the horse. He should be adjusted, chiropractic, and ridden properly. How can you do that if that metal plate digs into the left shoulder?
Yeah.
How can the horse ever get level if the rider hangs to one side? Right? So that's the argument of the other peers. And then, of course, the other argument comes back, well, if you make it uneven, you never get it even. Well, that's why we have on this beautiful adjustable plate, there are marks, okay? You can see when you open up the saddle, there's little ridges, okay? There's little marks. So if you grab your saddle,
I'm guessing I need this little guy.
Yeah, you open up in the middle, look at here.
Oh, wow.
All right, so look inside when you open the middle tab, and look inside with your phone, or with if your light is good enough, you can see there are lines. Can you see the lines?
Oh, yeah, like right here. Yeah, here.
So now you take the big Allen key. I'm going to get mine. Where's mine? There it is. Okay. So now you open it here, and then give it a nice opening and open it up. Okay, so let's turn it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. I might be turning it wrong. Okay, there we go. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
So now what I want you to do is put your hand here and here and look at the lines. Okay, push this apart and push it together and look at the lines. You see
Oh,
how
yeah.
they're, yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
so there's one line, what matches the middle. And
Oh,
then,
yeah, I see.
yeah, and when you move it back and forth, you feel the little teeth of
Yeah,
them.
and you can hear it kind of clicking.
That's right. So what you want to do is this screw you open up, or what it does is separates the teeth.
Okay.
So for our viewers here, you can see the teeth, right? So the tiny little teeth, the tempered steel, that is super, super strong. And we have that tested at the university. The only way you can damage this, if you leave the screw loose and it moves all the time like that. It's kind of like you drive a car and shift the gears without the clutch, right? So you always want to shift the gears when you push the clutch when you shift the gear on the car. You always want to loosen and then tighten the screw when you adjust the saddle. So try to adjust it to the narrow line. Check out how I do it.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
So I put my chest against this side and pull this towards me until this line lines to the narrow part.
Okay.
And then I adjust it. And then I lock it. See if you can lock it and see if you can see that the teeth go into each other.
Okay, yeah, I think it worked.
Okay.
And then
Let me see your saddle. Let me see your saddle. Is it what's the name of the saddle? Is it a Cosmic?
Cosmic, yeah.
Okay, so these are super easy to adjust because you don't have to take the panels off, but you should have a little window here, a little opening in the front where you
Yeah, like the little flap.
Can you show me a little bit more?
Yep. This little flap here.
No, on the side.
Oh, on the sides. Like
Look,
under.
look where I'm pointing.
Okay. Oh yeah.
There's a little round window where you can pop
like right here.
Yeah, you can pop that leather out. It's stitched with a thread. See
yeah, there's two. Yeah, one of them already has the leather popped up. So I open the thread.
No, you just pop that little leather piece out.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Good. And now you can see the lines from the side adjustments, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So now trying to find with your key to get to the side part. See how I have it?
Here, I'm gonna see if I can make this bigger somehow. Your screen, because it's harder there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you have it right in this side.
In the beginning, in the beginning is a little tricky. This leather here is called the gutted leather. The gutted leather.
Okay.
Wherever that gutted leather ends in the front, okay, and stitch. That's where you can see it when you peek in there a little bit.
Yeah.
It could be in the height of that little hole. You just pop that leather circle out.
Oh yeah, I see it. I think. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So once you have that, okay, to the left, loosen it.
Okay.
Got it?
Hands. Okay, yeah.
So I have this against my chest, and then I pull the other one in. See how I pull this in?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So pull this in and adjust that to medium narrow. so that your middle line is between the narrow and the medium.
Okay. So the medium's the middle line then? There we go. Okay. Okay.
You got that?
Yeah.
And then did you tighten it again?
Yeah.
And what you do when you tighten it, you wiggle it a little bit, because sometimes, look at my fingers, sometimes the teeth are just sitting on top. If you wiggle it a little bit, then they go inside.
Okay.
See if you can also see it sometimes when it's not joined up properly.
Yeah. Okay. And then do you do the other side to match it? That, or I guess it's just if you let out the one side too, if they had up a larger shoulder.
So which side did you just adjust?
I just did the left one.
Okay.
And then, so the 3 lines, is the first line, like the one that's closest to the center panel, is that one the narrow line, and then it's like medium and then wide?
Let me answer this question first. Do you see how I have this tight, but the teeth are sitting on top of each other?
Yeah.
Watch this. As soon as I wiggle it a little bit, I can tighten it, and now no space in between. You see that?
Yeah.
That's how it has to look all the time.
Okay.
The only way the system is not working if you ignore what I just told you.
Okay.
So now go on the other side, on the right side, and adjust that to the medium.
Okay.
See, already going a little easier, right? Because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just finding the little hole, because it's like not what you expect to look for with it, like, like it's just not even an option with other saddles, so it's like completely new.
Yeah.
There we go. I think I have it. It's also just kind of dim lighting in here. This is so cool though.
This is just the beginning, Shelby.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, anytime with horses, when you're learning how to first tack them up and stuff, you're not efficient, but once they get to know how to do this, it'll be really efficient.
Yeah, remember the first time you put a double bridle on?
Yeah, or like I used to not even be able to do my girth up myself. I had to get help because I wasn't strong enough. Okay, there we go.
All right. So if you put that saddle in front of you, like I do, you put the cantle on your knee and you look at the saddle from the front. You will see that one side is more open than the other side.
Okay.
Because you have it adjusted a little bit different on the left side versus the right side. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So put that down for a second.
Okay.
Now, this is your YouTube channel. Do you still have time? Should we go on?
Yeah, we can go on for a bit longer. I have time.
Okay, good. So now get your tracing back. The cardboard, yeah. So on your cardboard, there should be a straight line.
Yeah, like the dotted line in the middle or the one horizontal.
That's right. And there's one on the top and one on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So now this is something what is really cool. So if you look at your phone, it has an app called Measure. You hit Measure, and then it asks you to calibrate it. it comes with every phone. You have to rotate a couple times.
Okay, yeah, I have it here.
Yeah, and then on the bottom, you have the option on the left and on the right to either measure something or have a level. So if you press on level and then put it sideways, can you see it, how it's 0 and has different degrees?
Yeah.
So now put that phone on that line of the cardboard.
Okay.
There you go. So when you go on the horse, when you go on the horse, look at my video here, right there where that is.
Yeah.
You would hold your phone with the cardboard together on the horse. Then you get the axis of the horse and you did a good job.
Okay.
And then you have the other option. There's 2 lines on the top and on the bottom. Okay, so when you see how the lady is checking it?
Yeah.
So if I'm using this saddle here, okay, watch this. If I roll it this way, it's crooked. If I roll it this way, it's crooked. But if this back is level, okay, somewhat level, you get a pretty good idea. You can put a level on here, whatever you want. You now take your cutout and put it in with your. Okay. So if you have a horse but it's really crooked, they will ask you, open the side, and this is sticking out. Bring the side in. So you can totally make this super accurate. Okay.
Cool.
So that's the hard way to do it. Now I show you the easy way. I always show people the hard way because they have still a lot of understanding.
Yeah. Cool. Tighten this side back up.
Yeah, you always want to make sure you don't put it away loose. You always want to have it tight. Now, tell me again why you would not leave it semi-loose.
Because you said that was like the only way to really break it is if you leave it too loose.
And why would it break if it's too loose?
Because it rubs together the teeth.
That's right. And use the yellow handle. It's easy on your hands, right? So it's a leverage.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then can you, like, when you're adjusting it, do you take the Allen key out and then push it together, or does it not matter if it's in or out?
Doesn't matter if it's.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you really want to make sure it's tight. Okay. So you turn it to the right, it's tight, to the left, it's loose.
Perfect.
Righty,
Yes.
tighty, lefty, loosey.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I do not do that, right? If I'm not adjust my screws on the outside, right? There's one in the inside, which everybody knows, narrow, medium, wide tree. But the outside can make sure that the bigger shoulder has more room. Otherwise, that metal plate will do the damage like you see here in these pictures. All right. Very often, if it's not adjusted correctly.
Yeah.
Now, what's in the middle of your saddle, all the way down in the channel? What is that? What do you notice?
It has Velcro.
Is it exposed Velcro?
Yeah, it's for the pads.
Excellent. And the pad, I'm going to talk in a minute, but you see there is something in there in the pad, right?
Yeah, shims.
So what I always do, I take them all out, have them in some kind of container.
Okay.
The pads have different shapes. The inserts. One is half circled. Then you have one what is glued together, like that one, with white and blue felt. And you also notice how they're different density and how hard they are?
Yeah, like this one's way like squishier than this one.
Yeah. So most of the time, you don't need those 6. Wait, there should be, how many there are? 12.
Yeah, I have 6, or no, 8 per side. So 2, 2, 2, and then the long ones, and then one more in the front.
Yeah. So I have some professionals who have to ride literally 10 to 12 horses a day.
Yeah.
So, and they say, I don't have time to adjust every time this damn pad. Okay. So what they have is for each horse, one of those pads. However, you only need the 6 shims on the side. Very rare. You need them very, very rare. The one you use all the time, most of the time, is the long one. Show me the long one again.
This one.
Yes. Now, do you notice how it's loose in the front and loose in the back, but glued in the middle?
Is that so you can put the extra shims in them?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Good guess. So this is, so when you have a saddle, okay, most of the time when you have shims on top, shims move all the time. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have a horse what has super deep shoulder holes means when behind the bone, a big hole. What you need to do, you need to go ahead and you cut from the front. Show me how long this is on yours. Is it adding up in the front or like mine a little bit back? Yeah, right there. So when they have big holes here, okay, you take a tape measure and you go 4 inch back and you cut that off. So it's like that.
Okay.
I'm just folding it over, but pretend you see so much more white foam in there.
Okay.
Now in your pad, okay, where you took the foam out, okay, this is where it sits. And then there is also pockets. See the pockets?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the main pocket, this piece goes in, the white to the horse, the blue to the saddle.
Okay.
So put it back in, and there's a front and a back. See if you can identify the front and the back.
Yeah. Okay.
So tell me when you have both sides matched. You took all those little shims out and you matched it.
Okay. This one. Okay. All the shims are out, and then just the long ones are out. I'm just gonna drop this over. Second. Okay.
Super. Okay, so now show me with your finger like I do where the Velcro starts in the back.
Like right here.
Okay, so put all these little tabs inside, close it up. Good. All right, so now you look at your saddle and you start putting it on from the back to the front.
Okay.
Looking so that Velcro matches.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever seen, or do you have, or do you know somebody who has insoles for their shoes or for their feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you imagine they put the insoles underneath the foot too far forward, too far back, too far left, too far right? It would.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
So when people ride shimmable pads, the shimmable pads always has to be adjusted to the saddle because the saddle and the pads, they on the back of the horse move. So if the shim move, the pads move, is not only uncomfortable, you do more bad than good.
Mm-hmm.
Now on this picture here, this horse has a transitional vertebrae on the right, and it's only in the back lower.
Okay.
With this pad, you don't need a saddle fitter or a saddler to stuff your saddle. You take your shim for the back left, and for this horse here, and I always recommend use the soft one, the blue one, first. So now the saddle doesn't tip over and put massive pressure on this transitional vertebrae where a nerve is running on top. Normally the nerve go underneath, but on transitional vertebrae, it's on top, very sensitive. So by having an extra shim here, the saddle doesn't tip left and it decreases the pressure on that nerve. Sometimes you have a horse standing absolutely square and you go like this. Man, what's happening to that side of the muscle? It is a temporary holding pattern, or it is a birth defect, or it is an injury.
Cool.
You will, especially you who ride so many horses, will easy feel, why is my saddle tipping back on the back right or back left? So you now also, when you have a horse, let's say, has super movement, but all of a sudden he complains and he has dry spots like this. Okay, that means the saddle is not touching. Then you need to put the middle shim in. You see that?
Yeah.
So see, when most people ask me, how can you stuff my saddle long distance? Well, with this pad, most professional have sometimes out of necessity used shimmable pads because they have no other choice. Now you can put your phone on, and I don't know if we make this as a taped session or an Instagram session, or somebody else videotapes you while you and I talk on your phone over FaceTime or WhatsApp with camera.
Yeah.
You can show me your horse and I can show you exactly where to put what.
Cool.
That's where the long distance is. Now, I just give you a little glimpse, and I know it was a lot.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. That's helpful.
But there are videos, right? So there are videos. I don't know if you got an instruction manual with us.
Yeah, I think so. I'll double check.
If not, you can also always say, Miriam, hey, Miriam, what videos do I need to watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll practice a bunch too, because that'll help if I just keep adjusting it for fun and then get used to it. And yeah.
And if you have a horse you really trust, adjust it wrong.
Yeah.
Make it purposely wrong. And when I say purposely wrong, I mean, so it pinches the withers.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You don't ride a lot, but enough that this nerve, this is the cranial nerve 11. If it's too tight behind the withers, right, it looks like it's okay, it's balanced, but you have it adjusted wrong. You didn't follow the guidelines. Right, 8 circles. Walk, trot, canter, each direction once. All right.
Okay.
So, okay, you would say, but that's only 6. We'll do rising trot and sitting trot. That's 8. So then adjust it correctly and do it again. Your jaw is going to hit the ground. You will not believe how different the horse feels. Then you're going to say, or all the people who are the naysayers and who watch you, well, you warmed them up now. Go ahead, change it back to the bad fit. It takes literally minutes.
Yeah.
Right again,
Cool.
and the horse will literally stop and look at you and says, "Are you insane?"
Yeah.
Right? And he will be really angry because he knows it doesn't have to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Then change it back to it. This is what convinced me before I put the heart monitor on, the gait analysis, and the computerized saddle bed, how my horse felt to me. Right. And this is why I said, wow, we do all this service. And Marriott Clem is in your area. She could come out and help you too. Right. But sometimes she's not available. Sometimes you're at a horse show. Sometimes you're in a bind, you need it fixed now. So you have the ability to do this. This is the cool part about it. So by having that option, by having the option of instantly adjusted, and not only to the bigger or smaller side, allows you to maintain your work, right? So here we talked about the long pieces. We have videos on it, exactly how to do it. We just did it very, very fast. And for all our viewers, this is, oh my God, it sounds complicated. Of course it's complicated the first time you have to tack up your horse. And you will be all nervous. Like you said, right? Once you tack it up, you figure it out. You have all these 6 pieces here, different density of foam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And what I really like, what no other saddle company has, this is what you can all adjust. The tree angle, the tree width. The width is the middle part. Okay, so if you look at the middle screw here, the distance from here to here, that is the width, or narrow or wide this is. Right? The angle is from the one down. Okay, many people think this is an angle. It is an angle. Okay, but what it matters the most, first of all, is the width. Why is the width so important? Well, if your horse gets wider in the shoulder, the D-ring left and right of your saddle got to be wider too. You know, we're practicing right now something, Shelby, what is going to blow your mind.
Cool.
Because you have option with the saddle, which we just discovered. We call it orthopedic adjustment. Because no other saddle in the world has that stirrup bar.
Cool.
And we talked about this in our previous adjustment. All the other ones have the metal where you can adjust, but they're point forward, points backwards, away from the long meridian point. The pressure is insane from the stirrup bar and from the forward facing tree points. So this is your regular stirrup bar, regular jumping. Now it's attached here. It's
cool.
Okay, and the stirrup bar goes back. So by having these adjustabilities, the recovery after the jump is insane, right? It's insane how fast the recovery is from a jump. And what I love that we can adjust the front, that you can actually, let me see if I have that footage here, because this is brand new, which is, I'm still like so psyched about it, because sometimes I have to have a rehab horse. Sometimes I have a horse what I need to has kissing spine, or I can't ride because I put too much pressure on the spine. So for the horse to move the shoulder blade under, this is a normal shoulder blade. This is a shoulder blade what gets down, especially on eventers or jumpers. All shoulders come back, right? So once we did this, okay, and this long meridian point, the heart monitor is off the scale. People look, something is not correct. We can now ride and fit the saddle. Okay, so if you look at this slow motion, right, rider sits further back, and you see how the muscle contracts and how the shoulders. Yeah. So when you
crazy,
when you put a girth in the saddle on it, you say, how's that going to work? Well, once you're ridden in your saddle, I can help you and tell you how to adjust your saddle.
Cool.
This we want to call it hovercraft. You can adjust it that the foot never digs or pinches.
Cool.
So with any other saddle, it would slide from side to side. This guy rides 1.50 meters.
Cool.
Right?
That's awesome.
So you know yourself, if you're in the jump off and you roll back and you go really, really fast, your saddle can't go left or right. It doesn't slide back anymore. Okay. And look at this from the front. This is slow motion.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
You think, oh, that saddle must rock like crazy. It must go back and forth. Horrible tipsy, rocky. It doesn't move. Why doesn't it move? Yeah. This is the dirt pattern after he's ridden for a while. Look at this, hardly any pressure here. None, even though the rider sits very far forward. This is so new. We even haven't marketed this, and we haven't really talked about that. But where I'm going with this is I want to make sure we do not have any more pressure, dry spots.
Yeah.
Of this area. Okay? If my metal plate doesn't sit correct, how in the world is that shoulder to go through there? Right? And how can I avoid the cartilage and the lung meridian point? So it is a very technical device, but you will, I tell you right now, you will never, ever ride in anything else again because the freedom in the shoulder.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited to try.
It's nuts. So take the opportunity, okay? You don't want to have the saddle stand so steep so it's thick on the bottom or it's too tight on the top. Okay, it has to be parallel here. Okay, so you have the cutouts. I show you now this simple version how to adjust the saddle. This is, I barely use the cutouts. I use the cutouts if I want to see how my horse progress, condition, muscles, or I have to have a whole group of horses to group together so I know what horses go with what saddle or adjust it. This pad here, I only use if my horse is very sway back, very mutton withers, very steep, falls off the side, very uphill, very downhill, because that has to be fit too, right? So that's where your pad's coming. All right, let me just reposition my wing studio here. What I'm going to show you. So first I'm going to adjust it, just the gullet plate so you understand the principle.
Okay.
So here's my horse. Here's that trapezius, rhomboideus, splinalis, very sensitive. This is where the horse can carry the saddle and the rider. This is where the shoulder blade would be. Okay. It would be like that. And this is where the cartilage be. This is where the lung meridian point is. And in movement, the saddle goes this, the shoulder goes this way. Okay, so that shoulder goes up.
Yeah.
So your conventional saddles, they sit this way. This is where the stirrup bar is attached. Oh, need a new bigger studio. Run out of space. Okay. So you can see how the stirrup bar is here. Okay. All the pressure, where the red is, that's where no pinching should ever occur. This is where it sits. So now, when this gullet plate I can't adjust. When I took my tool, I went over the highest point of the withers, I stroke it down, I made sure that this thing is level, took it off, and then I trace it. So, or I take my saddle and I make all these things loose and put it on top, the widest point. And then while it's still there, pretend it's the saddle untouched. This is easier to explain. Okay. While it sits up there, I go ahead and adjust it so so it matches everywhere. So once I adjust it there, watch this. Then I move my saddle back here. Now you're going to say, well, that doesn't match at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is way too wide. This is way too narrow. If you fit the mallet plate here and you move the saddle back, you fit the saddle for a horse what moves, because guess what's coming? That's got to come in there.
Mm-hmm.
Slides back. It goes in there and comes out. Okay, just like I showed you. If you adjust it where most people adjust it, let me just loosen it again here. This is so cool because I have done this with osteopaths. I've done this with veterinarians, with other saddle fitters. And they cannot believe it. They cannot believe the difference, because I says, why don't we let the horse talk?
Yeah.
Why don't we adjust the saddle the way you say, right there? Okay, fits perfect now.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time the weight comes down, okay, there is no room for this to go through. The horse stumbles, goes shorter. You look at the heart monitor. Oh my God, look how high he breathes. He and his pulse is up. You look in the sand, he barely tracks up. With the other adjustment, there's tons of room. He moves over.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but then it digs in the bottom. It doesn't dig in the bottom. It is flush and even down here. You can feel how smooth it is, but there will be a gap. So the way I adjust the saddle, right? I make all my I adjust it all loose, open it all up. So now it's all loose. Then I take my saddle where I normally put it, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on top of the withers. Okay. All the way on top, and push it down until it sits on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I tighten it. So this just hangs in the air back here, so ignore it.
Okay.
So I tighten it. Then I look at my side. Oh, that looks pretty good. I tighten it. Push on it, tighten it. So it's kind of like your tool, right? You wrap it around. You don't use your measuring tool, you use your saddle now. Instead of cardboard, you use your saddle. Once you get really good in this, in terms of adjusting it, this is the only saddle you can adjust while you're on the horse.
Cool.
Okay, so I'll tell you in a minute what I mean with that. So now it's perfect. Now it sits on the withers and it matches the shoulder. Now I move it back. What do I see?
Lots of space and clearance.
Lots of, not even close to the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Flashing even down here.
That's
And
cool.
the saddle is balanced. It took really 4-5 times, because the people say, oh, it's just on this horse. 4 times for the trainer, for the body worker, for the vet, to see it, to feel it, to see the diagnostic tools.
Cool.
People who are not close-minded, most people who are not stuck in their old ways, instantly go with this because the horse tells you.
Mm-hmm.
And the screen, what I have here on my computer, you see a whip on the front and a whip on the shoulder. Every article, what is written from veterinarians, trainers, they always talk about The angle of the tree has to match the angle of the shoulder. Okay. Obviously, this is not the angle of the shoulder, and that's way too steep. That's not good, but that's not what I see here. It's absolutely parallel and it fits.
Yeah.
And that's just a horse. On the real horse is way, way easier.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, no, I'm excited to try.
So take your time in this in the beginning because there's a lot of moving parts. And you will see.
Yeah.
What is difficult in the beginning, it's actually a lot of fun in the end.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to try. I'll get used to it pretty quick, I'm sure.
I have to bring this home one more time.
Okay.
This here, adjusts by the side nut where it would be here. This distance, steering to steering, is adjusted by this. That controls how high or low the saddle sits of the withers.
Cool.
And the side controls if it's parallel to the shoulder. And the best part, what you really, really gonna love, is if you have a horse or a saddle what always kicks over to one side, because the left side is too narrow on a symmetric tree. You can just open it on the horse. Click, you hear it goes in that one rigid. And then you look from the back, says, unbelievable. That saddle sits straight.
Yeah.
So now the straighten out, this becomes too wide, the saddle goes the other way. Guess what you want to do? You want to look at the lines on your gullet plate to make it even again. How simple is that?
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool that it's that easy. So
in the end, when you get it, it's very easy. Judge what you feel, how the saddle puts you. Yeah. Look at if the saddle is too high or too low. Okay. So this would be if the old-fashioned way where you adjust the metal narrow, deering to deering, and flare it out on the bottom so the tree doesn't fit in the tree width. So what do the saddle do? They stuff. The tree is too wide. And by the time you ride, that thing slides forward, sits too high. It's horrible. Okay. So go ahead with all the experts say it has to fit the shoulder angle, not the
No, I'm excited. I'll try it on a bunch of different horses over the next couple of weeks and then get used to adjusting it. Awesome.
Show you one more picture. I mean, we're over an hour on here now. I apologize, but
No worries.
I'm so psyched that you have the saddles now.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to start riding in it and getting used to how to adjust it.
Because people like you who have ridden horses bareback, feel how a horse can feel when it's free.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Free. Here again, the stirrup. Anyway, we can talk at least another 4 hours, but people that don't have time. So look at the video, talk to us, and we'll be there every step of the way when you need us.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll let you know how it goes.
100%.
Thank you again. This was awesome.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
you too.